Welcome to week 6 of Foundations for Ministry Life. As you get started this week, I want to highlight a few things for you. One of the main themes of this course is Sabbath spirituality. And we've got to do more than just read about it. This sort of thing, really, we've got to practice it. We've got to enter into it experientially. So you have a Sabbath observance experiment coming up, and you've been hearing about that. And I want to be sure that if you, hopefully you've already done so, but if you haven't, that you're making plans for that, because this takes some intentionality to block out time to carry that out. And then shortly after that experiment, you'll note in the assignment schedule that you have a reflection paper due in which you reflect upon that experience, that experiment. Another assignment you have coming up is a cultural background paper. Why are we looking at culture in a Foundations for Ministry Life class? As you seek to participate in God's work in this world, you are well served by better understanding your own cultural background, and also by understanding the cultural backgrounds of those you serve. And the two are related. They may or may not be the same. You might be serving people from your own cultural background or going across. No matter who you're serving, this cultural understanding equips you to better interact and better understand those to whom you're ministering. So we're working on cultural understanding. There are lectures this week and next week that set forth categories for understanding culture. Pay attention to those categories, because you're going to need to use those in your your cultural background paper that'll be due. So understanding culture, and we're looking for those categories, a few categories for analyzing culture. This week we also continue looking at theologies of call. Why are you in seminary? Why are you headed towards some form of ministry? How does it relate to your calling? Well, as you've read, Paul Stevens has a view of calling that sees us called primarily in terms of things that all Christians are called to. He talks about the possibility of a specific call, but he says in the scripture we see a couple people that get those, but the norm is something different. The norm is for God to have this general call on all of us. So what do you think of that? Marva Dawn has been talking about calling. William Willimon talked about calling. Now, this week you're reading an article by Paul Clayton that continues this discussion of calling. And then the next session you'll have a paper in which you reflect on these different understandings of calling, and also how that relates with your own understanding of calling and theology of calling. Well, those are a few things going on in the course this week. I hope you enjoy the readings and reflections, and I look forward to interacting with your postings.